Welcome back to Creepy Uncovered. In this episode, we are going to go behind the monster that is Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein's life and actions have been the subject of countless headlines, documentaries, and investigations. In this video, we will explore the life and crimes of Jeffrey Epstein, from his childhood to his mysterious death. Jeffrey Epstein was born in Brooklyn, New York, in 1953. He grew up in a middle-class Jewish family, and his parents worked for the New York City government. Epstein's father, Seymour Epstein, worked for the Parks Department, while his mother, Pauline Epstein, was a school aide. As a child, Epstein was described as being bright and precocious, and he reportedly excelled academically. He attended public schools in Brooklyn and Coney Island and was known to be a voracious reader. Despite his academic achievements, however, Epstein was said to be something of a loner, and he reportedly struggled to make friends. In his teenage years, Epstein's interests turned to finance and investing, and he reportedly began working on Wall Street when he was just 20 years old. He eventually started his own consulting firm, J. Epstein and Company, which catered to wealthy clients, and he quickly gained a reputation for being a savvy investor. Epstein's success in finance would eventually lead him to become a multimillionaire, and he would use his wealth to gain access to the highest levels of society. However, Epstein's childhood was not without its struggles. In a 2019 interview, Epstein's brother Mark revealed that the family had been affected by their father's mental illness, which had caused Seymour Epstein to be absent from the family for long periods of time. Mark also revealed that he and Jeffrey had been sexually abused by a schoolteacher when they were children, an experience that may have contributed to Jeffrey's later behavior. Epstein met Ghislaine Maxwell in the early 1990s, through a mutual friend. Maxwell was the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a media mogul who owned several newspapers and was a member of the British Parliament. The two became close friends and business partners, with Maxwell serving as Epstein's socialite and personal assistant. Epstein and Maxwell were often seen together at high-profile events, and they both shared a love of art and culture. Through Maxwell, Epstein gained access to some of the world's most powerful people. He became friends with prominent politicians, businessmen, and even royalty. Among his friends were Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Donald Trump. Epstein was known for throwing lavish parties at his homes, which were attended by many of his high-profile friends. Jeffrey Epstein's crimes are well documented and were the subject of numerous investigations both during his lifetime and after his death. Epstein was accused of sexually abusing dozens of underage girls, some as young as 14 years old, and of trafficking them to other wealthy and influential individuals. He used his wealth and power to prey on vulnerable young women, promising them money and career opportunities in exchange for sexual favors. Epstein's crimes spanned several decades, and he was able to continue his predatory behavior for so long due in large part to his vast wealth and powerful connections. He used his influence to shield himself from prosecution and to intimidate his victims and potential witnesses. He also had a network of enablers and co-conspirators who helped him recruit and groom his victims, as well as cover up his crimes. Epstein's crimes were finally exposed in 2005, when a young girl reported to police that she had been sexually abused by him. This led to a federal investigation and a plea deal, in which Epstein pleaded guilty to a single charge of soliciting prostitution from a minor. He served only 13 months in a private wing of a county jail, with work-release privileges, and was required to register as a sex offender. Despite his conviction, however, Epstein continued to operate his trafficking network, and he was arrested again in 2019 on charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy. This time, however, the case gained much more attention, thanks in part to the efforts of Epstein's victims and the Me Too movement. Epstein was facing new charges and the possibility of a lengthy prison sentence when he was found dead in his jail cell in August 2019, in what was ruled a suicide by hanging. Jeffrey Epstein's wealth was estimated to be in the billions of dollars at the time of his death, and it remains a subject of much speculation and controversy. While Epstein's early career in finance and investing undoubtedly played a role in his accumulation of wealth, the true sources of his fortune are unclear and the subject of much debate. Some have suggested that Epstein's wealth came from his work as a financial advisor to some of the world's richest individuals, including Leslie Wexner, the founder of Victoria's Secret. Others have speculated that Epstein may have been involved in illegal activities such as money laundering, or that he may have used his connections to engage in insider trading or other financial improprieties. Regardless of the true source of his wealth, there is no doubt that Epstein used his vast resources to gain access to the highest levels of society and to maintain a lifestyle of luxury and excess. He owned multiple properties around the world, including his infamous private island, Little St. James, which was valued at more than $63 million. He also owned a mansion in New York City worth more than $77 million, as well as a ranch in New Mexico, a home in Paris, and a luxury apartment in Palm Beach, Florida. Epstein's wealth allowed him to surround himself with powerful and influential individuals, many of whom were later implicated in his crimes or in covering them up. He donated large sums of money to charitable organizations and universities, including Harvard and MIT, which have faced scrutiny in the wake of his arrest and death. Despite his wealth, however, Epstein's crimes have cast a shadow over his legacy, and his name has become synonymous with abuse of power and exploitation of vulnerable young women. Epstein's private island, Little St. James, was known to be a popular destination for high-profile individuals, including politicians, celebrities, and businesspeople. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton reportedly visited the island multiple times, as did Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, who was photographed with Epstein on the island. Other visitors to the island included billionaire businessman Richard Branson, who once hosted a fundraiser on the island for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Alan Dershowitz, a prominent lawyer who defended Epstein against allegations of sexual abuse, also visited the island. Other notable visitors included Victoria's Secret founder Les Wexner and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. Many of these individuals have faced scrutiny over their ties to Epstein in the wake of his arrest and subsequent death. Epstein was arrested again in 2019 on new charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy. He was held in jail without bail, pending trial.
However, on August 10, 2019, he was found dead in his jail cell.
The official cause of death was ruled a suicide. After Epstein's death, there was significant controversy surrounding the circumstances of his demise. Many people believe that he may have been murdered to prevent him from revealing information about his high-profile associates. The investigation into his death has been ongoing, with several high-profile figures implicated in the events leading up to his demise. In the wake of Jeffrey Epstein's death, investigations into his crimes and associates have continued, with a renewed focus on bringing justice to his many victims. One of the most significant developments in the ongoing investigation was the arrest of Ghislaine Maxwell, a close associate of Epstein's who has been accused of helping him to recruit and abuse underage girls. Maxwell, the daughter of media mogul Robert Maxwell, was arrested in July 2020 and charged with multiple counts of sex trafficking, conspiracy, and perjury. She was accused of playing a key role in Epstein's trafficking network, helping him to identify and groom young girls for sexual abuse and sometimes participating in the abuse herself. Maxwell's arrest was a significant development in the investigation into Epstein's crimes, and many hoped that it would lead to further revelations about the scope of his trafficking network and the powerful individuals who enabled it. As the case has progressed, however, it has faced numerous challenges and setbacks, including delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic and ongoing legal battles over the admissibility of evidence and the rights of Maxwell's accusers. Despite these challenges, the case against Maxwell has continued to move forward, with prosecutors alleging that she was a central figure in Epstein's criminal enterprise and that she actively sought out and groomed underage girls for him to abuse. Maxwell has denied the charges against her and has maintained her innocence, but the evidence against her continues to mount, and her trial is scheduled to begin in November 2021. The investigation into Epstein and his associates has also led to numerous other revelations about the scope of his crimes and the powerful individuals who enabled him. It has been reported that Epstein had extensive connections to politicians, business leaders, and celebrities, many of whom have faced scrutiny and criticism in the wake of his arrest and death. The investigation has also revealed the extent to which Epstein and his associates used their wealth and power to evade justice and to intimidate and silence his victims and potential witnesses. While the investigation into Epstein's crimes and associates is ongoing, it is clear that the revelations about his abuse of power and exploitation of vulnerable young women have had a profound impact on society, and have led to a renewed focus on the need for greater accountability and justice for survivors of sexual abuse. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more true crime content.